Did you know that your unconscious psyche already understands who the love of your life is, even before your conscious mind becomes aware of it? Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists in history, uncovered something that can completely alter your understanding of love. And I want to warn you immediately. What you are about to hear may force you to rethink all your past and present relationships. It might even clarify why you have felt that strange sense of emptiness in connections that looked perfect on paper. There is an unseen force, a hidden pattern in your unconscious that acts like a cosmic magnet, drawing toward you exactly the person you need to complete your individuation process. Jung called it anima and animus. And this force is active in your life right now as you read these words, shaping every decision you make about love without you realizing it. But here is the disturbing part. Most people ignore these signals because they are too busy chasing what they believe they want instead of recognizing what their soul genuinely needs. And when I say soul, I do not mean shallow romanticism from Hollywood films. I'm referring to something far deeper and transformative, something that can alter the very structure of your personality. Over more than 40 years of studying the human psyche, Jung observed patterns that repeated themselves again and again in his patients. He discovered that those who found true love, the kind of love that truly changed their lives, experienced specific signals that most people overlooked or misunderstood. These are not coincidences or romantic fantasies, but real expressions of deep archetypal forces operating in the most primitive layers of our brain. The first sign that you have found the love of your life is what Jung described as the activation of your archetypal counterpart. This goes far beyond what popular psychology labels as compatibility. In every man, there is an unconscious feminine element that Jung called anima. And in every woman, there is an unconscious masculine element known as the animus. These are not vague ideas floating in abstraction, but real forces measurable through neurological and hormonal changes that influence every choice you make about love. Jung discovered that a man's anima develops primarily through early experiences with significant female figures, especially his mother. But it does not end with that first imprint. It evolves throughout life, integrating elements from all meaningful female encounters. The animus in women follows a similar but opposite path, developing mainly through experiences with male figures. When you meet the love of your life, something remarkable happens on a neurological level. This person naturally and effortlessly activates your anima or your animus. This is not superficial physical attraction that fades after a few weeks. It is a resonance occurring in the deepest layers of your being, in those regions of the brain Jung called the collective unconscious. You feel as though this person awakens parts of you that you never knew existed. Suddenly, you begin to express aspects of your personality that have been dormant for years, perhaps decades. A man may discover emotional sensitivity he suppressed since childhood. A woman may uncover inner strength and leadership abilities she never realized she possessed. Have you noticed that some people can spend months or even years with you without ever making you feel truly seen? They may tolerate you, perhaps even love you in some way, but an invisible barrier remains unbroken. With others, from the very first meeting, you feel a strange familiarity, as if you have waited your entire life for that moment, as if you have finally come home after a long journey through unfamiliar territory. This is neither coincidence nor romantic projection. It is your anima or animus recognizing its perfect counterpart, the missing puzzle piece of your psyche. Jung observed that in such moments, brain regions linked to deep memory are activated, as if we are recalling something long forgotten. But pay attention, because here comes something essential that most people miss. This activation does not always feel pleasant at first. In fact, it can be deeply unsettling. Jung found that when our deepest archetypes are touched, we experience what he called a complex constellation. This means your entire psychic structure reorganizes itself to accommodate this new energy. It is as if someone has entered your psychological home and begun rearranging the furniture without permission. You may feel a strange mixture of fascination and fear, as if this person holds the power to change you in ways you cannot control or predict. This is exactly where awareness is required. True love, the love of your life, does not leave you unchanged. It transforms you on an archetypal level. This transformation is not optional. You cannot experience only the pleasant aspects of this activation. It arrives as a complete package that includes the disruption of personality patterns you believed were fixed and permanent. Jung warned that many people flee at this precise moment, frightened by the intensity of the change ahead. The second sign is closely connected to what Jung considered the most vital aspect of psychological growth, the integration of the shadow. We all possess a shadow, the parts of ourselves we have suppressed, denied, or rejected because they do not fit the image we wish to present to the world. The shadow contains not only negative traits, but also undeveloped potential, hidden talents, suppressed passions, and primal instincts. During decades of research, Jung discovered something remarkable. The shadow does not vanish when ignored. It grows stronger, more destructive, and begins sabotaging relationships from the unconscious. Most relationship conflicts, according to Jung, are not truly about surface issues people argue over. They stem from unintegrated shadow aspects projected onto the other person. When you meet the love of your life, something occurs that most relationships never reach. This person can see your shadow without retreating from it. More than that, they help you integrate your shadow into conscious awareness in a healthy way. They do not judge your darker sides. They do not attempt to fix or reshape you. They accept the totality of your being with an understanding beyond logic. Have you ever been with someone who made you feel you could be entirely yourself, even in your most troubling aspects? Not someone who tolerates your flaws out of obligation, but someone who somehow transforms those flaws into strengths or sees them through a different lens. Your tendency to be critical, once destructive, becomes a skill for improvement. Your stubbornness becomes admirable determination. Your sensitivity, once painful, becomes a tool for deep empathy. But understand, this also means they will challenge your ego. They confront you not aggressively, but in ways that force you to face parts of yourself you would rather avoid. If someone does this naturally and lovingly without becoming your adversary, pay attention. This is a strong sign of true love. This confrontation feels like an invitation to grow, expand, and become more complete. Jung observed that conflicts in such relationships do not destroy the bond, but deepen it, because both understand they are participating in a sacred process of mutual growth. The third sign is perhaps the most mysterious and powerful: synchronicity. Jung developed this concept after observing that seemingly unrelated events appeared connected by more than chance. He defined synchronicity as meaningful coincidences pointing to a deeper order beyond cause and effect. When it involves the love of your life, these synchronicities multiply and grow increasingly improbable. This is not simple coincidence, but an orchestrated sequence of events conspiring to unite you in ways defying rational explanation. Jung documented cases where probabilities reached 1 in several million. These included repeated encounters, unexpected connections, and dreams manifesting with uncanny accuracy. Such synchronicities intensify during crises, involve shared symbols, and arise from unexpected sources. Jung believed they signal alignment with the archetypal self, the truest version of who you are. When these patterns revolve around one person, your unconscious is delivering a clear message. This person is central to your individuation process. Have you ever noticed that with certain individuals, synchronicities seem to occur almost endlessly? as though the universe itself is actively working to keep you linked, arranging meetings that surpass any conscious intention, as if a higher intelligence were coordinating circumstances to ensure your paths intersect again and again. Yet here is the truly intriguing part. These synchronicities do not fade once you come together. Instead, they grow stronger and transform into more subtle, yet equally profound expressions. You begin to experience what Jung described as mystical participation, a psychic bond that extends beyond the logical explanations offered by modern neuroscience. You may frequently think the same thought at the same moment, far more often than probability would allow. You may experience similar or complementary dreams without having spoken about them beforehand. You may intuitively sense the other person's emotional or physical state with unsettling accuracy, as if you shared a mutual inner radar. Jung recorded instances in which partners separated by thousands of kilometers felt identical physical sensations at the same time when the other was in danger or suffering. This was not fantasy or autosuggestion, but observable phenomena that Jung carefully examined over many decades. This mystical participation is not emotional dependence or unhealthy attachment. It is something far deeper. It feels as though you have tuned into a shared frequency that allows you to perceive one another on levels that go beyond ordinary verbal or physical interaction. The fourth sign is deeply tied to what Jung regarded as the pinnacle of his work, the archetypes of the collective unconscious. According to Jung, universal patterns of behavior and experience exist within each of us, shared across all humanity. These archetypes include figures such as the lover, the sage, the warrior, the great mother, the wise father, the eternal child, the trickster, and many more. Jung observed that most people activate only a small portion of the archetypes available to them. This leads to a persistent sense of incompleteness, as if we were playing only a few instruments in a vast orchestra. Life can feel narrow and repetitive, as though we are forever stuck performing the same role without access to the full range of our human potential. When you encounter the love of your life, you discover that this person functions like a master key, simultaneously and harmoniously awakening multiple archetypes within you. They stir not only your lover, but may also draw out your inner sage, your nurturing protector, your fearless explorer, your creative artist, or any other archetypal force required for your full development. This reveals itself in tangible and observable ways. You may become braver than you ever imagined, more compassionate toward others, more inventive in your work, wiser in your choices, or more playful in daily life. Not because you are performing or pretending to be someone else, but because their presence genuinely activates dormant capacities within your psychic structure. Jung noted that in truly transformative relationships, both partners act as catalysts for the realization of each other's highest archetypes. It is as though each of you holds the precise combination needed to unlock the other's hidden riches, treasures that may have remained sealed for years or even decades. Have you ever been with someone who makes you feel like the best version of yourself effortlessly? Not because you are trying to impress them or adopting a role, but because their mere presence draws out qualities you never knew you possessed, like a piano finally meeting the musician capable of playing every key. This archetypal activation deeply influences everyday life. Creativity expands, leadership strengthens, intuition sharpens, humor matures, and courage to confront challenges increases. It feels as if this person has illuminated rooms within your personality that had remained dark for a very long time. Yet the most profound element is that this activation is mutual and self-reinforcing. Not only do they bring out the best in you, you have the same transformative effect on them. Together, you generate a psychic field that allows both of you to become more complete and authentic versions of yourselves. Jung observed that couples who experience this mutual archetypal awakening often develop capacities that neither possessed alone. Their combined intelligence surpasses the sum of their individual minds. Their shared creativity exceeds what either could accomplish independently. Their ability to resolve problems, endure crises, and create beauty in the world multiplies exponentially. The fifth and final sign may be the most powerful of all. It is the unmistakable sense that you are living your personal myth with this person. Jung believed every individual is born with a unique myth, an archetypal storyline that gives life meaning and direction. This personal myth is not consciously invented. It is a deep pattern arising from the collective unconscious that guides development from birth to death. Most people move through life without consciously engaging with this myth. They live as actors in a play whose full script they never received. They know they are on stage and must perform, yet they do not grasp the larger narrative they are part of. When the love of your life enters, everything suddenly begins to make sense beyond intellectual reasoning. This person does not merely fit into your story. Their presence enriches it, deepens it, and completes it. It feels as though you had only lived half your myth until now, and suddenly the entire storyline becomes visible. Jung observed that when two people experience this mythic resonance, they encounter what he called the union of opposites. It is not about sameness or the absence of difference. It is about differences complementing one another in a way that creates something greater than either alone. This does not mean your life before had no worth. It means every experience, including your deepest wounds, greatest failures, and brightest successes, reveals itself as a necessary chapter preparing you for this meeting. Every trauma becomes insight. Every loss reveals itself as preparation for something more meaningful. Every period of loneliness becomes the time in which you developed the inner strength required for this bond. Jung referred to this as individuation, the journey of becoming who you are truly meant to be. He observed that for many people, this process reaches its culmination through encountering the significant other, the person who catalyzes the full unfolding of their potential. Have you ever felt that life with a certain person takes on a deeper, almost mystical significance? As if the scattered fragments of your experiences suddenly formed a coherent and beautiful pattern. As if this person were not merely an addition to your life, but the missing piece that allows your existence to feel whole. Yet there is something essential to recognize, something that distinguishes those truly prepared for the love of their life from those who continue chasing surface-level substitutes. Recognizing these signs demands a degree of self-awareness and emotional honesty that many people actively avoid. It is far easier to remain on the surface, focusing on obvious similarities such as shared interests, physical attraction, financial security, or social validation, than to descend into the archetypal depths of a genuine connection. Jung warned that many people instinctively flee from authentic love because it requires too much inner growth, too much deep transformation, and too much brutal honesty about who one truly is beneath carefully crafted social masks. Archetypal love, the love that shapes a lifetime, does not permit you to stay small, safe, or concealed. It persistently pushes you to evolve, to confront your shadows, and to integrate hidden aspects of yourself that you would rather keep separate, managed, and controlled. This form of love demands the surrender of the illusion that you are fully in control of your life, your identity, and your direction. It asks for trust in processes that extend far beyond rational thought. It requires faith in changes you cannot consciously plan, predict, or command. Are you genuinely prepared for such profound transformation? Are you prepared for another person to witness all your vulnerabilities, your flaws, your deepest insecurities, and for their love not to weaken but to grow stronger because of them? And are you prepared to offer the same level of presence, acceptance, and courage to someone else? If these 5 signs are appearing in your life right now, do not dismiss them out of fear or cling to familiar yet limiting patterns. Your unconscious mind is attempting to communicate something deeply significant about your destiny and your path of individuation. It is revealing a doorway to a version of yourself you never imagined could exist. Jung did not view love as a temporary emotion or a fleeting feeling that rises and falls with circumstances. He understood it as an archetypal force, a powerful energy capable of reorganizing your entire inner world and guiding you toward the realization of your highest potential. This force follows principles that surpass ordinary logic and reasoning. It cannot be manipulated, controlled, or manufactured. It can only be recognized, respected, and welcomed when it genuinely emerges in your life. Jung also observed something that often surprises people. The deepest bonds frequently begin in unexpected ways that contradict common romantic ideals. They may develop from friendships that slowly deepen over time. They may arise from apparent tension or conflict that uncovers profound, shared truths. They may grow when both individuals are focused on something entirely unrelated to romance. Archetypal love rarely arrives with dramatic spectacle. Instead, it unfolds gradually, like dawn, quietly transforming darkness into light. It requires time for archetypal energies to awaken, for meaningful synchronicities to increase, and for shadow aspects to be integrated in a balanced and conscious way. These 5 signs do not promise an easy or conflict-free relationship. In fact, Jung found that the deepest connections often involve greater struggle, more confrontation, and more transformation than superficial bonds. Yet they also offer something unmatched by any other human experience. They provide the opportunity to become who you are meant to be through the activation of the anima or animus, the healthy integration of the shadow, the expansion of meaningful synchronicities, the awakening of multiple archetypes, and the sense of living your personal myth. These are the signals through which the unconscious reveals that something sacred has entered your life, something that transcends ordinary romance and enters the realm of spiritual transformation. Do not allow fear of growth to cause you to reject this moment. Do not allow comfort and familiarity to prevent you from choosing the extraordinary. Do not let inner or outer voices of doubt persuade you that you deserve anything less than the deepest possible connection between 2 souls. Your psyche understands what you need for your evolution. Even when your conscious mind is filled with resistance, uncertainty, and fear, your soul recognizes truth. Even when the ego clings to limiting patterns, the recognition of these signs presents a decisive choice. You can ignore them and remain confined within familiar structures, or you can summon the courage to embrace the most profound transformation available to a human being. Jung believed that encountering true love is ultimately an encounter with the divine within, an experience of uniting opposites, healing inner divisions, and realizing the archetypal self as complete wholeness. Your unconscious already knows the answer. Your soul has recognized what your intellect struggles to define. The question that shapes your life is whether you will listen to this deeper wisdom and act upon it even when it challenges everything you believed about love. The signs are present, awaiting recognition by someone brave enough to see beyond appearances. The archetypes are active, awaiting integration by someone willing to expand beyond previous limits. Synchronicity is flowing, ready to be followed by someone who trusts universal intelligence. And your personal myth is unfolding, ready to be lived by someone who accepts the call of their highest destiny. The love of your life is not merely someone who fits conveniently into your current existence. It is a gateway to the most authentic, complete, and powerful version of yourself, one that could never be discovered without this transformative journey. This expansion continues the reflection by emphasizing that such love reshapes daily life in subtle but undeniable ways. Your values shift, priorities realign, and choices once driven by fear begin to be guided by meaning. Ordinary moments gain symbolic weight, and challenges become invitations rather than obstacles. You start to sense an inner coherence forming, as if fragmented parts of yourself are finally learning to speak the same language. This is not comfort, but alignment, and it quietly rewrites the story you tell yourself about who you are and why you are here. The presence of this bond acts like a mirror that refuses distortion, inviting responsibility and deeper awareness. You notice patterns dissolving, old defenses softening, and a growing willingness to meet life directly. Nothing is taken away without being replaced by something more honest, more alive, and more real. This quiet shift does not announce itself loudly, yet it alters everything that follows in unseen ways. And if these words stirred something familiar within you, take that as a sign to stay connected with this journey. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and keep exploring with us the deeper meanings, unseen connections, and timeless insights that shape who we are and who we are becoming. In the end, these connections remind us that some relationships are not random encounters, but meaningful meetings that shape our growth, awaken hidden parts of us, and give our lives a deeper sense of purpose. They invite us to look beyond the surface and recognize the quiet intelligence guiding our experiences toward wholeness and self-understanding. If this message resonated with you and helped you see your own connections in a new light, support the channel by liking the video, subscribing, and staying with us as we continue to explore the deeper patterns, inner truths, and transformative insights that connect us all.